Phoenix Audio presents
Aspire to the Heavens, written and read by Mary Higgins Clark. March 4th, 1797, 11:45 p.m., Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It was a wind-swept, raw March morning, and the city looked bleak and dreary as it shivered under the overcast sky. But the man who stood at the window of his study in the large house on Market Street didn't hear the rattling of the wind against the panes. He was staring unseeingly into the street. In his mind he was hundreds of miles away and just arriving at Mount Vernon. Eagerly he pictured the arrival of the great house, gleaming and white in the afternoon sun. For years he'd looked forward to that homecoming. Several times during severe illness, he'd thought that he wouldn't live to enjoy Mount Vernon. But now the hour was at hand. Now he could go home. He was a tall man who still carried himself impressively well. When he was 26, an Indian chief had exclaimed that he walked straighter than any brave in the tribe. At 65, he'd begun to bend forward a little, like a giant tree that could no longer resist the battering force of the wind. The width of his shoulders was still there, although the shoulders no longer suggested the agile strength that had once made him seem so near godlike to an army. He was so absorbed in his thoughts that he didn't hear the light tap on the study door. For a long moment his wife stood, surveying him intently. To her worried eyes he seemed weary and gaunt, but beneath the concern a current of joy rippled through her. Her fears had been groundless. For 8 years a persistent instinct had nagged her that something would happen to him, that he wouldn't live to go home with her. But she'd been wrong. Thank the dear, dear God she'd been wrong. She was a short woman. The gently rounded figure that had once made her seem doll-like had thickened into solid matronly lines. Still she moved with a quick, light step, and from under her morning cap, silvery ringlets lined her forehead, giving her a disarmingly youthful look. Long ago she'd explained to the man she was watching that even though her name was Martha, her father had dubbed her Patsy, because he thought Martha too serious and weighty. Now this man was almost the only one left who called her Patsy. She went up to him.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?